Yo, that white van talk. That white van talk. Tagged up this van, they were the owners were inside. They were actually fucking eating a burrito, I find it kind of funny afterwards because I can see how people in the West Coast could get confused with New Yorkers, because since they were inside and I'm trying to be respectful, right? I knock on the window because they just looked at me like, yo, what the fuck, right? So I knock on the window and I'm like, yo, roll down the window. And they're like, yo, what? And I'm like, yo, I just tagged up your shit. Is that all right? You know what I mean? Like, your shit's already tagged up as it is. Like, are you tripping about it or what, right? And then there was a guy and a girl, right? And they were like, nah, it's chill, whatever. We already know it's tagged up. It's not a big deal. And I was like, yeah, cool, all right. That's what I thought. But I could see now, like, looking at the time, it was just natural for me. But afterwards, I could see how that could be taken as aggressive. Anyway, point being, talk about friendships. This is one person that I really fucking miss, even though I don't fucking know. And is KRK. He is an example of somebody who, if I could have done things differently. Because when he was around, there was two things basically about it. One, he reminded me exactly why I made the decision a long time ago that I was not going to bomb San Francisco at all, anywhere close to the way I wanted to ever, because it would be quick before there would be some kind of issues with it. If you grew up in New York and you learn how to write in New York, doing that shit out here is just it just doesn't work. It doesn't work. It doesn't work. And KRK is one of those people who I kind of like saw that through. Why am I even doing this white van talk right now is also, I think he's Dominican. I'm not sure if he's Dominican. I'm pretty sure he also worked in advertising. Where I'm standing right now, the amount of Dominican shit that has actually happened on this block in San Francisco is very, very fucking odd, considering how many Dominicans there are in San Francisco as it is. And I've known 3 or 4 different Dominicans on this block. I've stood there with them, which is kind of crazy. Anyway, the but basically I just saw one of his shits. He's back in NY or whatever. This is a person that used to be in San Francisco, and when he was in San Francisco, I very much wanted to be like, yo, like, let's hook up, let's do something, you know what I mean? The problem I had at the time was I didn't want to bomb not with him like that, because I don't know exactly. That's another one of those things I really don't know. I'm actually just putting shit together as best I could from the internet, but it seemed as if he got attention. He got a fairly good amount of attention fairly quickly, and so I was in a position where it was like, yo, I don't really want to bomb like that, but it's difficult to ignore that there is another New York writer on the scene, because it's just crazy. I think it's fucking crazy how you could tell NY writers, like, it's just some shit. Like, just from seeing his shit, I don't think I had known he was an NY writer, similar to MQ. I think the first time I saw him or saw his name or whatever was here in the West Coast, so I had assumed he was from the West Coast until I saw, basically I just saw his style. That's it. And I don't mean just like the aesthetic. I mean like just the entire fucking style. It's one of those. To me, it's one of those fucking things where I just saw he apparently he had an account deleted or some shit like that, so he's back to some backup account, whatever. And he's back around, and it reminded me of how ridiculous a lot of things that have happened in my life have been, including, there was a point in time where he lived out in San Francisco. I very much wanted to kind of reach out to him and be like, yo, like, what's up, man? You know what I mean? But like, I didn't know how to, and I could have done it with the graffiti thing, but this is what's crazy about it. Like, I didn't want to do with the graffiti thing because it wasn't about graph, you know what I mean? So it's like, it was just more about like understanding that, like, yo, we should be able to understand each other. And I didn't do it. And if I had done it, probably things would have went differently for me. Just, whatever. That's how life is, right? You know what I mean? And so it is what it is. So I just wanted to get that out real quick. I don't know how quick that is, but it's a random fact of my life. yeah, that's kind of it. And then also maybe it ties together some shit for people, and maybe maybe understanding, because there was a point in time. That's a fucking thing too. There was a point in time there were fucking people paying attention to my account and shit I said, and now I don't know one way or the other. But what I do know, now I know it seems as if nobody's fucking paying attention, and it is a point, I guess, I'm a little blabbering, but it's a point in time where I'm at least able to clarify things, because I am less confused about certain things. And there was a point in time where I didn't want to clarify anything. There was two things going on. One, many things I was confused about. Many. But even whatever I wasn't confused about, like something as simple as like this KRK thing, where it's like, I wasn't confused about the fact that, like, I wasn't confused about the fact that he was from New York. I wasn't confused about the fact that we both wrote graffiti. I wasn't confused about the fact that it seemed like he worked either in graphic design or advertising. I wasn't confused about the fact that the way he cooks even. For many reasons, outside of the fucking internet, there was an opportunity for me to be like, yo, look, I'm actually just trying to connect with somebody, not about graph, not about anything, just a person, because I got some shit going on in my life. And basically, I would have been a check. It's even how it is right now. It's no different, you know what I mean? Like, it would have just been being able to hang out with him in person, not about graffiti, not about anything else. Because of the fact that I'm also from New York, and it seems we share a fairly good amount of qualities, it's kind of easy for me to be like, yo, all right, this is where I'm bugging out, because if he reacts this way or he does things this way and I know I do things this way, then why the fuck am I doing things this other way? You know what I'm saying? And that's basically what it comes down to. It's also an example of what I'm talking about, of like how fucked my life has been, and how likely it is people are very confused about shit like that. Like, I didn't have nobody. I had nobody to really talk to about shit. Like, and everybody I talked to was fronting, basically. So it was very difficult to kind of think of who the fuck really I am. You know what I'm saying? I know how it may sound weird, but it's like I have all these people basically lying about who I am. And it's like, why the fuck you lying about who the fuck I am as it is? And then on top of that, you know what I mean? I was already dealing with my own shit. So then it made it so for a while, I wasn't sure, as crazy as it sounds. Like, I wasn't sure. Like, I was sure of certain things. Like, I was sure, like, yo, I know I'm a writer too. I know I'm from New York too. And if this is where, it didn't happen, but if I had been around him at some point in time, it would have forced me to start thinking about me in a different way. It's just this weird shit. And so that's why it's just the results. I'm not trying to say it one way or the other. It's just the results of why and how it could be that both myself at times, as well as now many other fucking people, are obviously confused about who I am and what I've experienced and just what type of person I am and blah blah blah, to a point that is fucking, it's just annoying. So I'm doing shit like this. KRK, if you listened to all this, yo, word, for no other reason that I would imagine I would spend that same amount of time listening to you. Just, that's a fact. But if you didn't, then you didn't. For me, it was just more, I had to get this out. It's a little scrambled and rambled. But it's just basically, yo, it would have been nice to have met you when you were in SF. As a writer, I respect what you did in SF. I also understand why SF may have reacted the way they did. Just because, so this is where I'm not trying to make myself on the same level as you, but I can say that I know for myself, as somebody who learned how to write in New York, San Francisco, while it still is obviously a city, the graph scene is crazy. I don't know. It's just weird. It's weird. I would love to talk about it with somebody else. That one I would, because for the most part, all the writers I've known out here are from out here, or like other states. They're not from New York. Like, really in New York, the only other writers I knew were Blitz, who's now deceased, that I knew that I would talk to about shit like that. So. That's kind of, it is what it is. Anyway, let me move on for the morning.